music, not new artists, just new songs or new music with our listeners.
Wow, the way she said that,
well.
not new artists.
No, because I know FKJ, guys. So I'm going to be so upset. Anyway.
I'll put him on Tinder.
Yes. Yes, please.
Am I right to say that?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can.
you can.
No,
I
I
just
like
think
that.
you're putting
I
him on
said if
Tinder.
you don't know French kiwi juice, well, FKJ, then we're not a match. So
Then we,
just
so
keep
you
moving.
already
keep
know.
scrolling.
You already know.
Even if they think you're hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys,
just
we are in
deny it.
studio with Sulu. She is the boss, woman, owner, queen of Yadel.
Thank you. I'm more relaxed now, guys.
Yes, are you? I'm so
Yeah,
grateful.
I'm sorry that my sister bombarded you with those
I'm
like
sorry.
Very-
CSI.
I know.
I'm
Yes,
just like-
I'm
I'm
just
just-
investigating a
The way you
murder.
were asking her, you're like, well, what do you think? And like even with the pen, she says she was sitting. If you had to,
I'm sorry. I wanted to bring that
Those
professionalism.
political questions.
I
I'm
wanted
like,
to,
I'm just a florist.
the whole pen out, her whole like life.
You can do
laptop.
crazy things with
Look,
flowers.
the pen is
so-
still going.
You know the
I
devil.
do.
You know the
It
devil
helps.
wears Prada, and she's like, that's all.
Yes, that's Michelet. Like,
Yeah.
just-
No, oh my gosh,
That's
Miranda
all.
Priestley, I can't.
That's my sister do that look, right? Where she's like looking at you and she's doing like the judging, like
That is not what I'm doing,
But
guys.
she's not-
I
she's just
apologize.
thinking.
No, also I'm not even. I
She's thinking of
apologize.
my next question.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Look, we were taught it at when I was studying my journalism degree. What I was taught
there
was
we go.
that you look, you give the face. So when someone's speaking, you're listening intently. But I'm thinking about the fact that I really need to pee.
Oh.
So
Go
that's so that
relieve
is what-
yourself,
Thank
Saya.
you so much. I might actually leave y'all while y'all do this. No.
whoa, don't leave me on refugees. I'll be out here like
No,
making
so
a song. Like,
Before, so Tulu said she'd hang out with us in the studio, and one of the things we like to do with our guests is just to kind of break in, have some fun.
Yes.
On Saturday, we played a game, which is one of my old games that I absolutely love. It was called Gargle Guess. But today,
Gargle guess. What's that?
yes, okay, so Gargle Guess. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the fact that people care about Gargle Guess. Do you hear me, Sherman? I know you're listening to the show. Happy birthday, P.S. Love you, bye.
I hope it's really good, Sherman.
Yes, so he doesn't like it, but basically the idea is you take a gulp of water.
I thought we were doing guess the lyrics, but okay.
No, we're not. Do you want to try Gargle Guess?
Okay, yes. I
Oh
hope
my gosh,
it's,
I'm so
I hope it's
excited.
good. Sherman, does Sherman think it's not that good?
Sherwin hates it because firstly it comes with its own jingle, which is really exciting for me because I make my own jingles.
Okay, cool.
And secondly, the idea is so you take a sip of water and then you have to gargle a song and we have to guess what it is.
Ooh, okay.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I just need to get a
So-
song.
Yes, so you get a song. Kalia, can you find my jingle, please?
Oh my lord.
So it's if
wanna
you
hear
go
the
to
jingle?
the, so go back to Jasla.
I have to think of a song. Please, come.
Yes, you think of a song while we get it
I
up.
need a song.
Go to our
I
palette.
don't know songs.
So guys,
So I'll
this
go
is
first.
Gargle Guess. Just hear the jingle.
Listen to my
Goggle guess.
Coconut is that one the coconut.
I made that myself with my harmonica in my bedroom, guys. Everyone's like, you think I'm trick? I got my harmonica in my bag. It's right there. So that's called Gargle Guess. I'm going to go first. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to drink
Do
my
I
water.
win something?
You win. You get to be Queen Bee of Gargle Guess. I won on Saturday. No matter what Ayanda and Kalia
Have
say.
you
I
really
won.
got a song in your head?
Oh,
gotta
when
take
you
a
said it, I know. And then
gotta
I
take a
thought
sip
I
of
did.
water.
And then, okay, I do. I do.
You do. Wow, here we go.
No.
That didn't work. It's Julie's face. Wait, I'm
this is
sorry.
a
Okay.
mess, guys.
Then you know
That's
you
a
were like,
mess.
you're done.
That's-
Wait, I'll find
Do
it.
it again.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Finally, someone gets what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Okay.
That was for you, Sherman Joseph.
Right. Okay. So those who are tuning in now on our live, Sabina is just like, damn, I missed it. But don't worry, we are continuing. So it's Gargle Guess. It's a game we play.
Yes.
With our guest, and they guess.
The
We have
s-
to guess the song while they gargle.
They gargle. So I just gargled and everyone guessed it. Tulu, you are good. So I'm excited to hear
No,
what you
but
Yes.
gargle.
no.
Let's
Hold on. Okay, sorry, I don't have a song yet. Oh wait, sorry. I was away
No,
from
it's
the thing.
fine because I put you.
We put you up. You're
so
right.
you can chill.
Thank you. Thanks. Can I?
Yeah, you can chill.
Sorry, guys. I'm a chiller.
Yes.
I might take
like
off my
it.
shoes.
Please do.
No, no.
Please get comfortable.
Can I?
want you to do it,
Yeah.
please.
You know what, guys?
This whole time.
This
Flip.
is one-
I might just move in.
would love
Okay.
it. Please do. Are you ready?
Okay, wait.
I love
I
this.
just want
She's
to
so
see the
stressed
viewers.
for it.
Right now, the viewers are coming in. So, Tulu, you've got to start because a lot of people are
Did they
yes.
miss happy birthday?
I
Wait.
know they tuned in when they probably were like, what
They were
is-
like, what is she doing?
why are we watching her? Yeah.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Okay, so just try to get your head back. Don't do it too close. So because the aim, like the best way to do it, the best way is.
I'm gonna have to
put
go
your
for
head
an
back.
easy one. Okay.
Try not to spill.
What? Okay.
Stop.
Guys, we got a man in the corner here. He's just putting
I
us,
know.
Okay, cool. Oh gosh, you guys are gonna
Guys,
hate
we
me for
have.
this. Star. Stop. You know it.
Is it happy birthday?
Yes, thank God. I mean, you can't make me drink a whole bottle of water.
Is it happy birthday again?
What happened?
I love it. It's just like so many happy birthdays.
So our viewers,
That's very good though.
Donnell Kana says on that one day I chose to watch Ha Ha Hawaii, and then Henry says funny is it not?
Thank you so much, Henry.
Thank you. Is it me?
And Donnell.
Because
and
I can
Henry.
come back tomorrow and the next
Yes,
day.
all the days.
I got a whole lot of jokes.
I'm so excited. I love the fact that we're getting our guests. Goggle guest is becoming a thing.
Yeah,
It is
Can
a
we
thing.
please
do one more.
One more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michelin,
Are you all ready?
I'm gonna choose a rap song.
Okay.
Wait. What? What you say for
Wow.
my word?
Hey, you have no mic. You have no say in here.
Go, girl.
Go. All the single ladies.
Yeah. You see, but you got that Hannah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you can
But I helped
see-
you.
No,
I'm the best.
that was a fail.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna kick it old school now. Gosh, you guys better know it.
It's 2 for 2 though. I'm pretty impressed, guys. Normally no one understands this.
Usually we're always-
Damn thing.
We're
Okay.
failing at this. Are you ready?
Viewers? No, not viewers. Listeners?
Listeners, viewers.
Guys, you guys better get this one.
So anyone's living on the podcast, they must be dying because they
Okay.
can't see. I'm sure you've got spit underneath them.
Oh no.
Talk about that.
You're gonna choke yourself,
How
man.
are you not
How are you
choking?
choking?
You were just
Do
continue.
you not know that song?
No.
like 50 Cent.
Find me in the club. Honey's
Oh
full
my
of
gosh.
love.
Viewers, come on, please. I swear.
Does anyone?
Whoever gets
Can
this-
anyone guess
If
what Tulu
anyone's
just
listening, what
gargled?
gargled?
Yes, yeah. And if you-
Donnell, Henry, if you still guys are watching, Sabina,
I swear,
They
I
probably
promise
switched
you.
off. They're like,
I
what
think
the-
they were like, this is not funny anymore.
This is too
noise in my
stressful.
ear.
Well, they have the break
I
to
bet you
guess
one of
it.
them, somebody's gonna get it.
Yes.
And whoever it is.
You guys get to
You
go
hit
on a
us
date
back.
with Tulu.
Wait.
Shout out!
See, I'm putting you on.
Yeah, you're plugging it up. I really enjoyed it. Can we please play my jingle one more time?
Okay,
Just so the
wow.
people can
Guys,
hear.
just.
I'm plugging my jingle making skills. If anyone wants to hear it.
That was Gargle Guess. Thank you to all who listened to Gargle Guess. And thank you for Tulu for being a sport of
playing. I
playing.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. I love it when
So
people
this
are
is the
sports.
jingle.
Goggle guess.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I was there
These
when
are my
she did
things.
this.
These are the
Okay.
things.
Plug.
Are we still on air?
Yes.
Oh.
Hi.
I'm so confused. I really,
Like-
really need to pee, guys. We're gonna be right back. We're still discovering
Thanks for
some
telling
new
that
music.
on air.
I'm
though.
sorry. It's just because no one's letting
Thanks
me
so
go.
much.
You know when it's real.
You know, wow.
When it's
All right,
really
guys,
real.
we are gonna play more music, and we'll be back because my sister needs to tinkle like
Yes.
a little child.
Just
really
drain
do.
the main vein.
Drain the- Interesting. I like that. Drain
We'll
the
be
main
back
vein.
shortly.
Still tipping on Bobos, wrapped in Bobos, tipping on Bobos, wrapped in Bobos,
This DJ just turns you on.
tipping Bobos, and I'm back in Bobos. Still tipping on Bobos, wrapped in Bobos, tipping on Bobos, wrapped in Bobos, tipping on Bobos, wrapped in Bobos, tipping Bobos, and I'm back in Bobos.
Now look who creeping
look who crawling, still ballin' in the mix. It's that 6'6" long dick slim nigga sticking your chick. Pulling tricks, looking slick at all times when I'm flipping. Bar sipping, car dipping, Grant wood grain gripping. Still tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos, fofos, hoes, and no packins, and no packins. Blowing on that endo, GameCube, Nintendo. 5% tint, so you can't see up in my window. These niggas don't understand me, cause I'm boss hog on candy. Top down at Maxis with a big Glock 9 handy. Pieced up, creased up, stand dressed to impress. Big boss belt buckle under my Michelin S. Oh, Gucci shades up on my braids when I escalade. When I'm riding spree wheel sliding like a escapade. I got it made, the big boss of the North. Ain't shit changed, I still represent Swisher House. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Pimping fofos and I'm packing fofos. Still tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Pimping fofos and I'm packing fofos.
Fofos, I'm tipping. Wood grain, I'm gripping. Catch me lying, switching with the paint dripping. Turn your neck and your day ain't missing. Me and Slim, we ain't tripping. I'm figure flipping and syrup sipping. Like do or die, I'm pole pimping. Car stop, rims keep spinning. I'm flipping, drop with invisible tops. Hoes bob with my drop, step out. I'm shaking the block with 418s. Candy green with 11 screens. My gasoline always supreme. Got Dodo the brand with a pan of lean. It tastes grinding to be a king. It tastes grinding to be a king. First round drop piece coming. Who is Mike Jones coming? Slab shining with the grilling woman. Slab shining with the grilling woman. I'm Mike Jones. Mike Jones, the one and only. You can't clone me. Got a lot of haters and a lot of homies. Some friends and some phony. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot hoes all on me. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot hoes all on me. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot hoes all on me. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot hoes all on me.
Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Pimping fofos and I'm packing fofos. Still tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Pimping fofos and I'm packing fofos.
What it do is power wow, I'm the people's champ. My chain light up like a lamp, cause now I'm back with the camp. I'm crawling similar to an ant, cause I'm low to the earth. People's feelings get hurt when they figure out what I'm worth. I got 84s poking out at the club, I'm showing out. I'm a player, ain't no doubt. Hoes wanna know what I'm about. Biggest diamonds off in my mouth, princess cuts all in my chain. Wood grain all in my range, dripping stains when I switch lanes. Switch the name, it's still the same. Switch a house or switch a blast. Mike Jones, he running the game and magnificent by this cash. Michael Watts, he made me hot. Hard work took me to the top. G-Dash took me to the lot. He wrote a check and bought a drop. I got the internet going nuts, but T-Ferris got my back, so now I'm holding my nuts. It's power wow, baby. What you know about me? I'm on that 5-9 South Lee, baby. Holla at me.
Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Pimping fofos and I'm packing fofos. Still tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos. Tipping on fofos, wrapped in fofos.
É fim de tarde e tal, sentado na minha laje, observando as bíblias, minas que passam, bolando mais um plano, me sinto forte e leve, no flow do R&B, vivendo de amor e som, 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 só amor e som, só amor e som, e 1 quilo do bom. E ela é quente, feito um riff do Rolling Stones. Ela é rara, feito original da Blue Note. Meu coração acelera que nem bad brains. Quando você se requebrar, caia por cima de mim, que eu fico chaba. Me sinto chaba, chaba. Me sinto chaba, chaba. Ei, ei, ei. África. Bate que nem canque, vento forte à beira-mar. Quente feito funk, grande que nem África. Bate que nem canque, vento forte à beira-mar. Música de preto, você sente o efeito, no quilombo ao gueto, os gambás se irritam e as mina quer colar, música de preto, você sente o efeito, do quilombo ao gueto, os playboy copia, é fim de tarde e tal, sentadão na minha laje, observando as bíblias minas que passam.
Welcome back, guys. If you guys were watching the live, you could have seen it was a party up in here.
Yes, I really enjoy making a really great creative space for people, our guests, and anyone in the building to come through and hang out with us and have conversations, which is what we're about.
Such a comfortable space.
Thank you.
Feel,
Tilly.
good. You don't feel like you're.
I feel like I'm going to close my
restricted.
florist and just come and stay here.
Come and join us on
Let
the
us
show.
all join. Just
Yeah,
come here.
just be here. So, like we said, you're listening to Sisters Who Brunch. It is 12:16. Is it 12:16? I feel like my laptop.
12:12.
12:12. My
Why don't
laptop's a
your
bit
laptop
fast.
through?
Yeah, I like it so then I'm on time. For those of you just joining in, at the top of the hour we were talking about it's a new month, and the 1873 FM have a really interesting theme this month, and it's looking at media ecosystems and looking at the role the media, especially radio, has to play in developing and building a shared understanding around certain issues, but also in creating and developing a shared cohesion.
Yeah.
And kind of creating, what was the word? Nation building communities who come together. My brain's
shared
a bit fried. A shared
understanding.
understanding of our communities. So one of the things we want to be looking at this month in relation to the theme as well is the current refugees protest that is taking place in Cape Town right now. So it started in October 2019, and you had a number of refugee protesters who were sitting outside the UNHCR, which is the United Nations High Commission for Refugees office. They are the big umbrella body in terms of globally who take care of refugees around the world, but their office in Cape Town, and they were protesting because they want to be resettled in a third country. So what we want to do with this show is kind of show the different angles of this story, right? You've got the angle from the refugees, which is looking at why they feel they want to be resettled in a third country, and kind of looking at the xenophobia that they've experienced and just kind of understand from their side of the story. Also looking at it from UNHCR, understanding what their response has been to the protest, as well as to refugees and asylum seekers who request being resettled once they've already been placed within a country, and then also looking at the response by the South African government. So for those of you who aren't familiar with refugees, asylum seekers, or our whole system, I'm just going to give you some background because it is something I studied while at university. So essentially forced migration, if you look at it overall, is a real issue that's impacting the world, right? So refugees are not just an issue within South Africa. It's not just a continent-wide issue. It's global. And Europe, I think it was in 2015, there was the massive forced migration issue that happened in Europe. And right now also Turkey themselves have actually closed their borders and said, they've opened their borders and they said they will no longer stop refugees coming in from the Middle East and Syria from going to Europe. Because if you remember, around mid-2015, Europe and Turkey signed an agreement that Turkey said they would keep all the refugees that came into the country that entered Turkey, and they wouldn't allow them to continue their journey on into Europe. So now there's been an issue there because politics as usual. But what's interesting is that what I want to kind of look at today, well, in the short time we have left, very briefly, is that a lot of people don't really understand the difference between the terms, right? So you get migrants, you get forced migrants, and you get refugees, and you get asylum seekers, and then you also get internally displaced persons. So I'm just going to take you guys on a little theory journey. So for regular migrants, are defined as they are people who make a conscious choice to leave their home and to live in another country. They can plan their migration. They take their belongings and leave in an orderly way, so they get time to say goodbye to family and friends. They can always go home if they choose to. They mostly migrate because they're able to contact friends and relatives in their country of origin, and they enter and live in another country on a regular basis. So for regular migrants, there is no breakdown in the relationship between the state and the citizen. Then when you look at irregular migrants, this is a definition from the International Organization for Migration, is a person who, owing to unauthorized entry, breach of a condition of entry, or the expiry of his or her visa, lacks legal status in a transit or host country. The definition covers inter alia those persons who have entered a transit or host country lawfully, but have stayed for a longer period than authorized or subsequently taken up unauthorized employment, also called clandestine undocumented migrant or migrant in an irregular situation. The term irregular is preferable to illegal because the latter carries a criminal connotation and is seen as denying migrants humanity. So this is when a migrant might enter a country and they don't go home. So they didn't come in on a visa, they start looking for work, and then they just stay within the country. They've not exactly fled because of fear of persecution, but they are also not in another country. They have not joined another country legally. So they're kind of just like, it's interesting because there are quite a few people. One of my friends, her uncle actually, so she's Jamaican and he's Jamaican. He just went from Jamaica to the UK and never left. So he's never left the United Kingdom in 20 years because he can't, because he doesn't have a visa, he doesn't have a passport. Like his passport expired after he moved from Jamaica. So he would be someone that would be seen as an irregular migrant. Then you get refugees. So there is an international convention that was signed to kind of define who a refugee is. And they define a refugee as someone who is outside their country of nationality or usual residence and is unable or unwilling to return or to seek the protection of that country because of a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership of a particular social group. So what people don't always recognize is that a refugee, so the process of asylum seeking and refugee is that when a person flees their country because of fear of prosecution, they are known as an asylum seeker. So they come to another country and they're an asylum seeker. They only become a refugee once the UNHCR and the government of that state have they've processed their asylum seeking claim and they grant them the status of refugee. So people always get confused because people will call a refugee an asylum seeker, but a refugee is actually legally now a refugee and they're recognized in that way. So I find that it is really important to make sure that language is correct, because I think that that's also what happens when it comes to reporting. And when you look at, you have that misunderstanding. So the media might call a person an asylum seeker and a refugee in the same sentence and people don't know the difference, but there is a difference. So that's really important. I also am someone who, I think when you call someone a refugee, just because of the negative connotations that have come with the term, I like to say people who have refugee lived experience, because that is what it is. It's like, I did not look for this life. I've not decided on a whim that this is the life I want to live. Unfortunately, this is what I'm going through right now. But I think also the problem with once you become a refugee, it really is hard to no longer be a refugee. So three of the durable solutions that you're kind of given when it comes to global forced migration, the UNHCR, once you're processed as a refugee, you have three options. So one is to be repatriated. So it's found that, the country is now safe and you no longer fear for your life, so you can be sent back. Another one is then resettlement, which is resettlement in a third country. So that's where a third country is involved and you can resettle there. And then there's local integration. So local integration is the solution that South Africa mostly kind of adapts to when it comes to allowing refugees to live in the country. So the idea is, okay, they come from different parts of Africa, they come into South Africa, and the government tries to locally integrate them. But what has happened with our issue is the fact that integration has not really worked, right? We've got the xenophobia, we've got people who don't understand. So essentially the difference between economic migrants, refugees, asylum seekers, irregular migrants, right? And so that's kind of the topic that we want to explore, looking at that, but also looking at the gendered dimension of being a refugee and looking at forced migration as a whole. I mean, what does it mean?
On how media...
yes, and like we said, looking at the role of media
that,
in
because I don't think that was
an
an issue in, let's say, this Cape Town thing. Like, Do you know what I mean? So for me, the role wasn't played really well on that.
I think
and
that's
such
true.
A serious subject.
You kind of look at, and a lot of people will assume when you talk to people, they're like, no, South Africa takes in all the refugees of Africa. And it's like, actually, South Africa doesn't have the most intake of refugees. Kenya and Uganda do. So we are known as the local integration kind of country, or more of a third resettlement. But yeah, I think in 2017, we had recorded 88,694 refugees from Africa. So that's kind of the number we're setting up. But it will be interesting. I think, like I said, we definitely want to talk to all the different people going, they just need to go back where they come from. And it really stresses me out because I'm like, that's not possible. It's not as easy as you think. And there's so many different arguments within it. And I think especially...
I mean, you saw that a lot when we were living in Australia.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Why are they coming here?
Yeah.
Why are they so hard?
What is that? And I think that is interesting because the Australian policy towards asylum seekers and refugees is awful. So when I was there now and studying, it's just like they have a process of, if you arrive by boat, you will never enter Australia.
I think they should
get
have like a
settled
case
in detention.
study of refugees and asylum seekers based off Australia.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And more and more people are closing their borders. But forced migration is an issue that is only going to get worse because forced migration right now is an issue of war. But if you're looking at climate change, we're going to have climate change forced migrants, right? You've got countries that are disappearing because of climate change. So what's going to happen when you have environmentally forced migrants entering countries? So I think the whole regime needs to have a relook at, or the global regime really has to look at what it is they're doing to make sure that migrants feel safe, or forced migrants feel safe, but also what states themselves are doing to make sure that the relationship between state and citizen is a safe one. So that's what we'll be looking at.
And also just how like media will portray that.
And what our role as the media is to make sure that there's understanding and to mitigate that.
Because how you were saying, some people don't know the difference between a refugee and asylum.
No, people don't.
They're like, it's the same thing.
And that's the importance. People think, they think it's as simple as, oh, well, it's the same thing. And it's
You're
like
running
language
away.
matters. Language really does matter in these issues. And that's what we'll be talking about. So I hope everyone sticks around for March. It's going to be a good month.
Interesting unpacking.
Thank you, Tulu.
And you can see Michelle's like, she's got PDFs on this. So we
are
PowerPoint,
slideshows, spreadsheets.
See,
don't get me on the spreadsheet.
So it's going to be, I'm excited to get into it. Also because it just allows me to use what I studied.
I know.
And
look
kind
at
of
it.
bring
She's
that
like,
onto
and then it's like,
platform.
okay, now I need to go do some reading.
Flex zone.
Yes, that is what we're doing.
Only.
Everyone here is to flex. But we want you guys to also be a part of the conversation.
Yes,
I want the
please
questions
leave your
because
comments.
I'm not an expert at all. So we're going to get the experts in here to ask those questions, but we would love for you guys to have your input. So please send them through to the 1873 or to our Facebook.
Send it to our Instagram, to Sisters Who Brunch, and Facebook. Sisters
Yes.
Who Brunch.
And
as
to
well as the
everything.
1873 FM page.
What else do we have?
That's it. We don't have Twitter.
I thought we
We
did.
should have Twitter.
Oh, thank you.
We actually,
Yes,
no, you know what,
I love
guys?
it.
This is what's
Yes.
happening from today. We're having Twitter,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's gonna pop off.
Thank
essentially,
you. Because Tulu's going to run it.
Yes, like, and
Amen.
It's gonna pop off.
yes,
today.
definitely.
Okay.
Sisters Who Brunch are here.
I thought we made a Twitter account.
You want me to make that Twitter account?
I
I'm not
know.
good at Twitter, guys.
I think
Twitter's where it's
really
at,
am trying.
especially when you tackle such harsh topics.
But that's what
Yeah,
I mean. It is
really
for that.
difficult
Like,
ones.
I go on Twitter to hear news like this. Like, I don't
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
to
to
see
hear.
someone like, oh, just had dinner with Bae. Why are you tweeting that?
I guess that is
Let's
also
talk
interesting.
about
The different social media platforms. What do you
What do you do on
post?
Facebook right now? Because
mean,
right now people tell me, oh my God, you're on Facebook? You're a granny. And I'm like, hey,
Facebook is for
I have
Messenger.
a lot of followers on Facebook.
That's what I do on Facebook.
I have a lot of
message.
loyal people on Facebook. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. There's all the things that come with
Instagram,
it.
y'all are all thirsty. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love my phone.
Excuse me, I love
I
it.
love
Instagram is my
Rebels.
favorite social media. What's your favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
You see,
I
it is
100%.
easier. Yeah,
It's
to
just
use.
so
Except
cute.
somebody video called me. And I was like, Instagram ain't gonna be that.
I'm sorry, if someone video
Wait,
called you on
what?
Instagram.
On Instagram, guys,
No,
a video
there's no
call.
such thing.
People
no.
are doing it.
I need to
voice
put that
notes.
off.
WhatsApp is
I'm not
slowly
allowing that.
moving into Instagram, no cap.
I've never known you can do that.
In
That
the
is too much.
DMs, now they have the
Oh, in
option.
DMs.
Little Slytherin.
Oh,
And like I
there
saw
you
this,
go.
and I'm
Oh.
like, why is it a weird? It's a different buzz to WhatsApp or like a messenger
Yes.
ring. And I see Instagram. I'm like,
However, that last post of yours was quite heated. So
sorry. We hear the crying.
That was the cough of the boyfriend. But we are nearing the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for Tulu. Thank you so much to Tulu for joining us and coming in and hanging out with us as well.
Yes, I'm gonna be here quite often.
That is exciting.
Just to
Can you
just
please
to chill.
bring me a veggie burger next time?
I will.
Oh, don't bring her nothing.
I know.
Bring me something.
I'm that friend.
She's a little shit.
I will.
But we love her.
By the way, we got back like way.
Oh my gosh, yes, we do. Tulu and I know
was
each other since we were 13, right?
100%.
Tulu was my sister's friend in high school. And like, you know, when you're a little sister and you're obsessed with your big sister's friends, Tulu was that one, like, I would sweat, like, it's Tulu and Melissa.
She's in our car, we're going to hockey together. No, absolutely.
Even Michelle was a little bit like, yeah, I'm with
This is my
Tulu.
funny
Yes,
sense of
that's
humor.
cool.
I'm really quite a funny person.
Yes.
Yes.
Try playing hockey with Tulu and you're like, I'm
Well,
trying to
she'll smash
concentrate
you.
on the other team and I can't because she's too funny and I'm just focused on her.
But thank you guys for tuning in on Sisters Who Brunch.
Yes, thanks to Neo for...
Yes, all the way from China.
Yes.
Shout
Thanks,
out.
Naya, all the way from China. I hope you find your way back.
Yes. I hope the South African government does
I want to
their
meet
part.
you.
Oh my, he has a
wanna meet him?
girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying it like
I'm in
that.
the way you said.
Why are you trying to get all the fans to think I'm some
Why
kind of
the
thirsty
you
person?
lying?
You see here. There's that. Can we play that song?
No, I don't know where to
I don't know
find
where
that.
it is
So.
either. Thank you for listening, guys. We'll be back on Saturday. Please tune in from
At
11:30
11:30
until
Because I can't.
1:30.
Yes.
Thank you.
Clicks.
We're off air now.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Bye.
playing more tunes. Thank you guys. Shout out. Have an awesome Wednesday.
Awesome Wednesday.
Hump day.
Yes, guys.
1873.